If you're ready to finally take the plunge in 2023 and start exploring the world on your own, but you're not sure where to go, then this is the perfect video for you. Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Tiana from wheretianatravels, and I am your favorite solo travel vlogger slash content creator slash American expat in Paris. I have been traveling quite a bit over the past 5 years, and most of those trips that I have taken have been solo. So I've learned a thing or two about finding the best destinations for solo travelers, and more specifically, solo female travelers. I've had so many friends and family from back home tell me that they want to stop waiting for someone to go with and just start traveling the world on their own, but they don't know where to start. They don't know which destinations are safe for women to travel to. And I know that starting this type of adventure can be super intimidating as a beginner. So I thought that I would sit down and give you guys my top picks for best travel destinations for solo female travelers that you need to add to your 2023 travel bucket list. And for those of you who don't want to travel alone, I am going to be giving you my recommendation on the best group trips to join in 2023 as well. So if you're ready to start your solo travel journey and you're wanting to know my top picks for destinations to visit next year, then keep watching. So of course, I can't not mention one of my favorite countries in the world on this list. Thailand will forever have a piece of my heart. I talk about it all the time on my channel and on my blog. It's one of my favorite countries that I visited, and it is a really solo female traveler friendly destination. It's one of the best places to go as a solo traveler. You will meet so many people from all over the world there. The people are so welcoming, so friendly. The culture is amazing. The people are so hospitable. Not to mention the food is so good. I really, truly can't say anything bad about this country. I just took my second trip to Thailand in September for my birthday. I was there solo for the entire 10 days, and I genuinely can't tell you one time that I actually felt alone while I was on that trip. Even though I was there solo, I met so many people while I was there, and it's just such a great destination to go as a solo traveler because there's so many expats living there. There's so many other international travelers that are visiting there, so you'll always be able to meet people. There are always people around, and even though you're in a foreign country, it still feels so familiar when there's other travelers there that speak the same language as you or maybe come from the same place as you. My best advice for female travelers in Thailand is to go to Chiang Mai. It is in the north of the country. It's a great city. It's an ancient city and it has a very traditional feel. I love it a lot because it's not as touristy as some of the other cities, but there still is a large expat community there. So you get kind of the best of both worlds and you get to see the authentic side of Thailand while still living in a modern city with modern amenities and tons of international people there as well. Bangkok is great as well for a nightlife experience. If you really want to experience the city life and nightlife of Thailand, I would definitely recommend checking out Bangkok. And then of course the islands are very nice for partying. If you like full moon parties or you're into the party atmosphere, then there's definitely a lot of that on the islands, but there are a lot of islands as well that are nice for just relaxing and chilling on the beach. The islands of Koh Samui, Koh Phangan, Koh Phi Phi, and Koh Tao are definitely known more for the party vibe, but there are also other things to do there as well. There's lots of resorts, there's lots of excursions you can do. Koh Tao is really well known for their diving. It's a really good place where a lot of people go to get certified in diving. So yeah, it's not just about partying. There's lots of other things you could find there as well. I went to Koh Samui as a solo traveler back when I went in September, and I felt completely fine, completely safe. I actually ended up meeting a lot of French people there, so I spent most of my trip with them, which was great because they were living there temporarily, so they could show me around. They had motorcycles and we could see, like, go around the island on motorcycles. So it was a really great way to get kind of the authentic experience and not just the experience you would have if you were visiting there. The best part about traveling to Thailand is that it's a super budget-friendly country. It is very cheap to travel there, especially if you're coming from a Western country where things are more on the expensive side. So with its great culture, warm hospitality, amazing food, and plenty of things to do to keep you busy, I would definitely recommend adding Thailand to your 2023 solo travel destination list. So next up on the list for best destinations for solo female travelers is going to have to be Switzerland. So Switzerland is a small but beautiful country that has a lot to offer. It has lots of charming cities, to the Swiss Alps, to little village towns. It's a beautiful country. I've traveled there now solo twice, and I've had a great experience both times. The best part about being a solo female traveler in Switzerland is that it's just extremely safe. Like Switzerland in general, whether you're a man or a woman, I think they just have a really low crime rate in general. So it is a country that I felt extremely safe traveling in. Swiss people are also generally pretty friendly and welcoming. They're very polite. They're willing to help you if you ever are lost or you need directions or you have questions. And then they have a really clean and easy to use transportation system as well. So even though everything was in Swiss German and I may not have understood everything the entire time, it is pretty easy to navigate the signs, and in general I didn't really have any issues with that. So in Switzerland I would recommend visiting Interlaken. They have really big cities like Zurich and Lucerne that are really nice to visit as well, but I have visited Interlaken twice, which is a really little village town in between two lakes. It's in between the mountains, in a valley in between the mountains, and it's a super cute town. I went paragliding there the first time I went. The second time I went last October, I took a day trip to Grindelwald, which is a cute little Christmas town, and they have Christmas markets, and it's like amazing. You're just surrounded by huge mountains and everything's covered in snow, and it was gorgeous. Switzerland is such a stunning country and 100% would go back there again in a heartbeat. Switzerland is a bit on the pricey side, so it's definitely not a destination I would recommend if you're traveling on a budget. But when it comes to safety, it really can't be beat. So my next recommendation for solo female travelers in 2023 is Tulum. So I know Tulum has become super popular over the past few years. Some people might even say it's overrated. I personally don't think so. I love Tulum. I love Mexico in general, but I think Tulum is a really great first destination for someone who wants to travel solo for the first time and maybe has never traveled solo or has never been to Mexico. I really would recommend Tulum. Tulum is a little beach town on the Caribbean coast of Mexico, and it has everything you could want and more in a vacation destination. You have the beach, you have jungle. It's very modern, but at the same time, very authentic. It's a really popular place for like yoga retreats and spring breakers, so it has kind of something for everyone. Like I said, Tulum has become really popular over the years, so it's always packed with international people. There's also a large expat community that lives in Tulum and in Mexico in general. So it's a very good place, in my opinion, for solo female travelers because there's always, even though you're in a new country and you may not speak the language, there's always people there that speak English. There's always Westerners there, so it's a way to kind of step out of your comfort zone a little and go on a solo trip, but still have kind of that safety net of finding people who speak the language, of finding people who maybe come from the same place as you and, you know, would be willing to help you if you had questions or got lost or something. There are tons of activities to do in Tulum, like exploring the ruins, going swimming in the cenotes, trying all the amazing food, as well as taking day trips to Cancun, Playa del Carmen, Isla Mujeres, Chichen Itza as well are all popular things to do in Tulum. I visited Cancun and Tulum solo in May 2021 and I had a great experience. I actually was supposed to go with a friend on that trip and then he ended up canceling at the last minute. And so I was debating back and forth, like, should I cancel too? I really didn't want to lose out on money, but at the same time, I was like, I've never traveled to Mexico by myself. Should I go? Is it safe? So I ended up going, and I had the time of my life. I met so many people there, just like I do every time I travel solo, and I didn't have any negative experiences. I felt safe the whole time. I stayed in both Cancun and Tulum, didn't have any problems there, so I definitely would recommend it. Most of the people that I met on that trip to Mexico were actually French, which was really interesting. I didn't know that Mexico was a popular destination for French people, but at the time, France was on lockdown for COVID, so I think that had to do with why a lot of French people were there, escaping the rules, but it was a great time and I met lots of people there. So I highly recommend Tulum for your travel bucket list in 2023. If you want to know more about Tulum travel, I have a few travel guides over on my blog. including things to do in Tulum, what resorts to stay in Tulum. Those will be linked in the description box below. Be sure to check those out after this video. So before I give away my final destination recommendation for solo travelers in 2023, I want to take a second to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Luxe Tribes. Luxe Tribes is a Black-owned travel group that caters to female solo travelers looking to explore destinations all over the world. They curate amazing trips that include everything from getting there to getting around, the activities that you'll do there, where you're gonna stay, what you're gonna eat, and so much more. Luxe Tribes is an amazing resource for female travelers who want to take their first trip but maybe don't necessarily want to travel alone and don't want to have to plan everything themselves. This is a great option for those of you who just want to pick a destination, book the trip, not have to worry about anything, and just show up and have a great time. The company was founded by Miss Chidi Ashley, who stated that she started this group because she was just tired of waiting for friends and family to go along with her on trips, which I can 100% relate with. So she decided to take the plunge and create this travel group for women like her who wanted to travel but maybe needed a support system or wanted people to go with. I was actually meant to join a friend on a Luxe Tribes trip to Kenya last summer, but I ended up not being able to go at the last minute because of school. So my friend ended up going. She had an amazing time. They went on a safari, they saw giraffes, they saw so much wildlife. It looked absolutely amazing. So when Chidi reached out to me to make this video, I immediately had to say yes because I had already been following her and the company for so long. And I had remembered seeing my friend's pictures and her talking about the trip that she went on. So for me, it was a no-brainer to share this company with you guys. They have a ton of upcoming trips planned for 2023, including destinations like India, Bali, Mexico, Thailand, Peru, Greece, and so much more. You can book your trip with just a deposit and then pay in installments in either bi-weekly installments or monthly installments, depending on what works best for you and how far out you book your trip. And the best part about them, unlike some other travel companies, is that Luxe Tribes does not charge any interest. So you can be sure that the amount that you're paying is going directly towards your trip and you're not paying anything extra. So I definitely recommend Luxe Tribes if you're a beginner solo traveler and maybe you want to go on a solo trip but you're just not sure about being alone, or if you know you want to go on a trip but you don't want to have to go through finding an accommodation, finding things to do and planning all that, you just want to show up, then I would definitely recommend joining a Luxe Tribes trip. And last but certainly not least, my final recommendation for best destinations for solo female travelers in 2023 is Zanzibar. So Zanzibar is a beautiful island located off the coast of Tanzania. Tanzania has long been a dream destination for many people, but it's especially perfect for solo female travelers. I had the opportunity to visit Zanzibar in summer 2020, and it was one of the best experiences of my life. The people were so welcoming, the beaches were amazing, the scenery was stunning. I had the greatest time. I never felt unsafe. The locals were so nice, and I feel like I learned so much about the country and the culture in general. And so I had to add it to my list because I feel like it's kind of a little bit of an underrated destination. It's starting to get more and more popular, but I still think it doesn't get the recognition that it deserves. There are tons of beautiful beaches to explore all over the island. We also went to Stone Town, which is in the center of town. It's a market where they have a bunch of vendors selling handcrafted items and spices and anything you could think of. We also went to a spice farm, so we saw where the spices actually come from, which is really cool. They also have safaris there. You can go on yachts. There's so much to do in Zanzibar. And it's not a super expensive country either, which is really nice. There's definitely more high-end resorts and activities that you can do there, but if you're on an average budget, you can just as easily have a great time in Zanzibar as well. If you do want to go to Zanzibar, Luxe Tribes has a Zanzibar trip in July, so I definitely recommend hopping on that trip with them. Alright guys, so that is it for my top picks for best destinations for female solo travelers in 2023. I'd love to know if you guys are planning on visiting any of these destinations next year or any destinations that you think I should add to this list. If you are planning your first solo trip, as always, a good rule of thumb in general to keep in mind is just to always be aware of your surroundings, trust your intuition, and just use common sense. As As long as you follow some general safety tips, you are guaranteed to have a good time in any of these places. Thanks again to Luxe Tribes for sponsoring today's video. Be sure to check out their upcoming trips listed in the description box below. I also have some additional resources and blog posts about each of these destinations on my website, so go ahead and check out the description for links to those as well for more information. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it's given you some inspiration for your 2023 travels. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!